Hey guys, this is Kneon. Before we get into the video, I want to put a quick update on this situation. This actually came out after we recorded the video. This is coming from Anime News Network. They're claiming that HBO Max is not going to have everything in the Crunchyroll library, and that Crunchyroll is going to maintain its independence as its own streaming platform. I think that will be the case short term. Very curious, though, that this article appeared right after the other article that we talk about in this video appeared. That to me feels like Crunchyroll's marketing people are trying to justify their existence as a standalone niche app to WarnerMedia. Of course, WarnerMedia missed its revenue goals this quarter. WarnerMedia was cutting back before COVID-19. WarnerMedia just had a big change at the top, and they've said before that they are going to cut mercilessly. So I don't know what's going to happen ultimately to Crunchyroll. We are guessing that long term it's not going to make sense for them to have multiple streaming platforms when you can focus on growing your flagship to become a legitimate Netflix competitor. That's what I think is going to happen long term. And again, just a hunch I have. I could be wrong, but we're going to get into the video. We're going to talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back to CLOWNFISH TV. This is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Crunchyroll, WarnerMedia, and the Great Conjunction, I guess.
The Great Conjunction.
All of this stuff combining, merging, possibly getting cut. I don't know. Some interesting things have happened over the last couple days regarding WarnerMedia. Now, we've been telling you for a while that we think it's possible, that Crunchyroll could get rolled into HBO Max as just sort of the anime tab on HBO Max.
So it could become an HBO roll.
It could, yeah, an HBO roll, a hobo roll.
Hobo roll. It's a hobo roll!
Because we know that HBO is making deals that don't include Crunchyroll for anime such as Studio Ghibli stuff.
Yes.
We've also heard behind the scenes from animation industry insiders that with WarnerMedia fiercely cutting back on things, that they think that Rooster Teeth and Cartoon Networks and Elation and all that is going to be kind of merged into one animation studio.
But not immediately, like
not immediately.
Over time.
It's
too drastic to do it at once. People would flip. They're going to do it when you're not looking.
Yeah, they're going to wait. But there are some parts moving. We've been talking about WarnerMedia and their financial problems. Now they just had a change at the top, which could actually hasten all of this. Today, Jon Stanky, Mr. Stanky.
Yeah, I still love that name.
Jon Stanky. Mr. Stanky has been promoted to CEO because Stevenson is stepping down. Stevenson said he'll remain in the executive chairman role throughout. This sounds a lot like
It sounds like Disney.
Yep. Through January 2021. AT&T had already committed to separating the roles of chairman, CEO after the end of Stevenson's tenure. So Stanky has getting promoted. He was in charge of WarnerMedia. He named his successor, and now Randall Stevenson is leaving. So what does this mean? Well, it means things are going to change, because every time they have a change in the guard, usually means they have a change in expenses, whatever.
Now, is this guy a little more, lenient on the money? Is he worse?
He's worse.
Oh.
As
so he's
I
like
understand
the cheap pick.
He's the Cheapek. This
okay.
Mr. Stanky is the WarnerMedia equivalent of Bob Chapek. Chapek, I'm sorry. That was not a slip. I thought you were going to say it's not a slut.
I was like, well, I hope not.
No. So, we already know from a video I did the other day that WarnerMedia missed their quarterly revenue by like $2 billion. We already know that Warner is talking about bypassing theaters altogether.
Yes, and interestingly enough, this ties into something I covered. Can I talk about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Earlier today. So, we know that Vudu is being sold to Fandango. Fandango is controlled by two companies. Comcast Universal, which has 70% ownership stake in Fandango, and we have AT&T Warner, which has a 30% stake in Fandango. So by getting them Fandango, they'll have Fandango now, and then they're going to buy Vudu, which means they'll have Vudu also, and both those offer direct theatrical releases on their platforms. People don't have to go to the theater.
Yeah, so it looks like they're getting ready for that because Vudu had that thing, that theater at home,
yeah,
and they actually had a survey for it. because I actually filled out the survey. They're like, did you know that we have current releases on Vudu? What do you think about that? How much would you be willing to pay?
Yeah, would you be willing to forego the theater to stay at home and watch the movies then? That kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, and the thing is Mr. Stanky, I keep thinking Mr. Hanky, Mr. Stanky said that they're rethinking it. He does not seem to be shedding any tears at all for the movie theater.
No, Universal went ahead and put stuff directly on the Trolls and all that. They didn't seem to care either.
Yeah, and the theater owners actually threatened Universal, and they're probably at this point Universal's like, we gotta survive. We don't really give a shit.
I think you're gonna see more and more companies do this because they were trying to protect the theaters by pushing their dates back until later in the summer. But if theaters can't open by late summer, or if theaters can't open to capacities enough to generate the money they need by late summer, I can see them releasing simultaneously theater releases and Vudu, Fandango Now, that kind of stuff.
We're evaluating our product distribution strategy, re-looking at volumes and the required support levels. He said we're rethinking our theatrical model and looking for ways to accelerate efforts that are consistent with the rapid changes in consumer behavior from the pandemic.
I think there's some changes that are gonna stay.
Yeah, well, that's what he's saying here. He said,
I didn't read this.
Yeah, Stanky cited Tuesday's Scoob, which doesn't look good.
Okay, yeah.
News is one example of the new normal. The Warner animation movie, which was previously set to hit theaters on May 15th, will now instead be available via video-on-demand rental for $19.99 or purchase for $24.99.
Yeah, but you know what? Scoob was never going to, let's be honest here, that was never going to be a blockbuster.
Yeah, because you're looking at what Disney's doing with Artemis Fowl. Like, Artemis Fowl was not going to make a lot of money.
The difference is it's going direct to Disney Plus without being paid for separately.
Right.
They're still trying to get their money for it. But I'm saying, like, compared to, like, Black Widow or Mulan or any of those films that probably would have done would do well in the theaters. Yeah, they're as quick to want to put those onto video. Plus, Disney would put it on Movies Anywhere or something.
Yeah, which I think they like abandoned Movies Anywhere.
Well, that's something else they pointed out about for AT&T and for Comcast. By buying Vudu, they're buying access to a bunch of TV shows and films that are not their own properties. Yeah. And that's giving them a little bit of leverage because, yeah, these companies could take their stuff, but people paid for that stuff. So it's going to be a hell of a lot harder to move it.
Yeah.
So, they were saying that too.
I'm worried about that. I'm worried about because we have like 300 movies on Vudu, and I'm worried we're going to lose them all. Or we're going to lose some of them. They're going to be like, yeah, you know what? Disney doesn't want to play ball. So all those Disney movies you bought.
Well, they already did move some of those. Did they move them to Movies Anywhere or something? We can't watch some of those on Vudu.
No, we can't. It's weird. The Paramount, so Movies Anywhere, the Paramount movies don't work on Movies Anywhere, but they work on Vudu. Some movies, yeah, and then they pulled the plug on Ultraviolet and they ported some of our movies to Vudu and not all of them. So it's I think what's going to happen is eventually all these companies are going to have their own streaming service, and to buy those movies digitally, you're going to have to buy them on their service.
So buy physical copies.
Buy physical copies.
We didn't. We here's
for
the
like
thing.
2 or 3 years.
You were the one going, we should get rid of physical copies, but it was because we didn't have the room.
We didn't have the room. That was the problem. We had like hundreds and hundreds of DVDs.
We did. It was ridiculous.
And it was like, you know what? We can't. So let's just from now on, unless it's something we really want is like a steelbook or something, let's just buy it.
We still have a lot of it on physical copies.
Yeah,
things we really like the most we kept. But anyway.
Anime. Lots of anime.
We do have lots.
So how does this pertain to Crunchyroll? People are like, get to the point here. Okay, so Crunchyroll.
No, we never get to the point right away. They know this by now.
Yeah, so Crunchyroll, here's their really fancy schmancy. I've showed this many times.
I remember this, yes.
The fancy schmancy office in San Francisco, and this might be closed for the
stinking secretary, just,
I know, I actually would love this place. This looks like...
It's nice, but I'm like, it's to me, that's kind of like...
You know what this looks like? This looks like the kids are watching iCarly. And this looks like what Nickelodeon thinks somebody that would work in an anime streaming company...
It does.
How they would work. God. It looks like a set. Like
it does. It looks like a set. You're right.
Like a Nickelodeon anime show or something. It'd be like all the kids, they have no money, no income, but they apparently
work. By the look of the age of the people working there, kids is about right.
Right. So anyway, here's the thing. This got put out, and we've been saying for about a year now that we've been hearing rumblings that Crunchyroll is a standalone service. Once HBO Max comes out and they bring all that anime content, because they've been talking about bringing Crunchyroll content to HBO Max, the Crunchyroll edition, plus they're getting Ghibli on HBO Max, it's not going to Crunchyroll, that there really isn't much of a need anymore to have Crunchyroll as a standalone service.
They really don't. They could easily merge it in and have it like, they could call it like the Crunchyroll section, but it wouldn't actually be a separate entity.
Right, and look, let's be honest. Their app, because we have the Crunchyroll app, it's dog shit. It crashes.
It does. It locks up our entire stick.
Yeah, the Amazon Fire Stick, it locks it up. It'll log you out for no reason. Sometimes you'll be logged in. You'll have to actually delete all of your data and then re-log in just to be able to.
So they clearly aren't keeping it up.
No, they're not maintaining it.
So that first thing you notice, we notice the Disney attractions too. When the maintenance stops, that's when you worry.
Yeah. So the thing about this is this article was put out on an industry, like a streaming industry website, marketing website. Basically, when people put articles out on industry and trades, they're trying to send a flare up to the right people, the people they know that read these websites or read these magazines.
Not us.
Not us, but we do keep tabs on this kind of stuff. So what they're talking about is basically how successful Crunchyroll has been as a niche streaming site.
I have said millions of times, when you have to describe yourself as a niche, you're in trouble. Because, frankly, you can niche yourself into oblivion.
Look at the verbiage here. This, I believe, again, my marketing radar going off. I worked in marketing for years. Marketing radar going off here. Right? Look at what they're saying. These last few weeks, we've seen the likes of Disney Plus, Quibi, Quibi? Is it Quibi or Kibi? Whatever the hell. Qbert?
It's like Quick Bite. Quibi.
Nobody cares. And the Roku channel rushed to compete against Netflix, Amazon Prime, and legacy broadcasters for attention and revenue. But whereas those services go for broad appeal, Crunchyroll is proof that a streaming service can be built around a single vertical.
Like I said, I mentioned this to you guys before. When it comes to doing your own stuff, you want to get the mass appeal in there, because if you you need a broader appeal, because if you just make it niche or niche or however you want to say it, you can end up making your audience so limited that there's no need for you. There's not the audience you need. And they're just saying, like everybody else is going broad, we're still niche. It's like, that's not a good thing. Single vertical. Not always a good thing.
So Crunchyroll's director of brand and title marketing said that they go wide and we go deep. Crunchyroll goes deep, everybody.
Oh my god.
Maybe they should pick up interspecies reviewers, because Funimation won't touch it.
That's right. They go wide and we go deep.
So they talk about how Crunchyroll was founded in 2006, and 2018 it got acquired by the WarnerMedia AT&T behemoth. That year, Crunchyroll breached 1 million subs. They jacked the prices up to $7.99 a month. So basically what they're saying is they doubled their numbers. Again, listen to the marketing speak. This is coming from the marketing guy. They doubled their numbers. It's a niche product. This is all good. Look how well we're doing, WarnerMedia. Papa Warner, please don't cut us. Please don't roll us in to HBO Max. Please don't take away our fancy schmancy office.
Office.
A set. This is a
we're
set.
embedded deep.
We're deep. We're so deep.
Fit past that.
The subscribers reportedly consume 85 minutes of content per day. You know what else WarnerMedia had that actually was pretty successful and very niche was Drama Fever.
Oh, I'm still mad about that.
And you know what? They didn't give a shit. They literally pushed the button one day and nuked the whole website.
Yeah, and without notice.
No notice.
And some people never got their refunds.
No.
I'm still salty about that one.
Its social media community of 30 million followers serves as an online safe space.
Oh my god!
An online safe space for anime, a digital form of the convention floor.
Wait, they have to explain what that is? A digital form of the convention floor.
Its growth is accelerated, yes.
It has to be, because it's deep.
Why they're growing so fast. This is coming from the marketing guy.
This is like, here's why you should invest in Crunchyroll. It sounds like, they're trying to promote Crunchyroll, like almost like they're trying to go find new investors or something.
This is all the marketing guy. So the marketing guy, is Carter Hansel. Anime is an international media. People are happy to consume it with subtitles. One of the few factors contributing to an anime boom is the comfort English-speaking audiences have consuming with subtitled shows.
Right, most people would do. As soon as my daughter could read, she was reading subtitles.
And basically, it's just, look, anime and manga is back on the upswing. It has been for the last couple years now. Right, so you have to
bank on that. But I love it. They're already, when they lead with safe space.
Netflix has been lifting the roof on anime fandom with a slither of its huge Huge, deep and wide content budget. Slippy tentacles.
Oh, God, I can't even.
For example, in the UK, it recently secured the rights to Ghibli, but Ghibli is coming to the US.
But not in Crunchyroll.
Not on Crunchyroll.
On their parent company.
Let's talk about this. Yep. So this is their marketing guy. Castlevania, which is bankrolled by Netflix and Frederator. He likes it though. He admitted
because it's supposed to be really good. I only see a couple episodes of it though.
Yeah, so they probably brought out there's a halo effect that brings more people into the community. It's competition, but it's unique.
What?
What the hell? Basically, it's okay. We're not.
My Lord.
Yeah. Now, I'm hearing that some of the Webtoon shows are actually pretty good. Haven't watched it yet. A final factor is that streaming is increasingly audience's primary means of media consumption.
Yeah, especially when you're locked in.
This whole thing, they're talking about the Webtoon deal where they have, the original anime.
Okay, basically, it's like this is why you need to invest in Crunchyroll, because Crunchyroll is like these other places and it's becoming more and more important. Right, but you're already owned by HBO Max. HBO Max already has other anime coming in.
Yeah, so
who are they selling to?
Again, marketing speak. The sky's the limit. Other people are surprised by how anime can grow, but not us. We believe in the community and think it's a storytelling medium. Okay, that's true. But let's be honest. Netflix is killing it with anime, but they've also got everything else.
Right.
And people just go to the anime tab on Netflix.
Right, which is what I think they're going to do with HBO Max. You're just going to go to the HBO Max Crunchyroll tab or whatever and watch it there.
The reason that Crunchyroll is still a thing is HBO Max has not launched yet. But when it launches, it's launching with Ghibli, as I understand it.
So this is interesting. I mean, like I said, they already have, this almost comes across as, how do you get investors, but they already are owned by somebody else. So at this point, it's like, this is why we're worth it, I swear to God.
We're always testing out content, figuring out ways to bring people into the fold.
In the safe space.
Get into the safe space. The deep, slippery
safe space.
As an anime marketer, he knows the power of the audience. As advocates of the brand, he describes this as the vortex of fandom.
Wow, this is getting better. They're in deep, guys. They're not wide. They're deep in that vortex of fandom. On my next list of euphemisms for buttholes, vortex of fandom definitely makes it.
The vortex of fandom. That actually should be an anime. Vortex of fandom.
Yeah, that would be one we probably wouldn't be allowed to watch.
So the marketing guy is looking to position Crunchyroll in the same emotional space.
Emotional space? Oh, he has. Okay.
For Nintendo and PlayStation brand. Okay, look, here's the thing. I don't think WarnerMedia gives a shit about
feelings.
They don't. They literally don't. Like, the movie theater owners were complaining, and WarnerMedia's like, yeah, we don't give a shit. We just have to make money.
Yeah.
We have to pay our debt. So he's basically trying to be like, yeah, anime fandom isn't about just watching the stuff. It's about experiencing it with friends, like our forums. It's about talking about online, like our forums on our webpage. It's about playing video games and reading comic books. We're uniquely situated to be like Super Serve fans in all those areas.
As long as you're in the safe space.
Right.
Well, we'll serve the fans that need the safe space.
And, okay, this whole thing, like you said, this sounds like they're trying to pitch Crunchyroll. They're trying to save. They're trying to save Crunchyroll as a standalone app. I thoroughly believe that's what's going on here. Because if I were WarnerMedia and I already had anime coming to HBO Max and I was spending a ton of money on HBO Max, I'd be like, why when Netflix just dumps anime onto the why when Hulu just dumps anime, why do we need to have a whole nother service? And why the hell do you guys need this safe space in San Francisco?
Oh,
do you know how much the rents are?
Cost a lot. Now, in their defense, some people just want the app and the anime and they don't want to pay for HBO Max. So, there is the argument that can be made.
Right.
That some people would just go to the app. Like, I could have watched some of those, dramas on other places, but it was easier just to go to Drama Fever because it was specifically for what I wanted.
Right.
So there is that argument that could be made for that there. But at this point in time, it's all about what they can cut for redundancies because there's so much debt going on because of everything being, lost right now that, they have to do what's best for the company overall.
And that's what's going on here. Talk about anime is such a source of comfort for so many people. We're definitely seeing more people on Crunchyroll right now. Again,
I'm sure they are because they're at home.
They're at home. And I'm not saying that they don't have a lot of people coming to Crunchyroll. And I'm not saying my own personal preference. I mean, I like to go to you know, a certain kind of an app that has a certain kind of content, like you said. You know, we've got
so many.
Yeah, that's a problem. There are, you know, too many. But you go to Disney Plus, you expect Disney content. You go to Crunchyroll, you expect anime. We've got Toku, which is all tokusatsu.
Yeah.
You know, Super Sentai stuff, and it's available on other platforms. But I can just go to that app and know that's pretty much all it is.
We personally like it that way, but the big picture here, it sounds like they would not put this out. There's no reason to put this out. There's no reason that save our app, and you know, this whole thing is just basically a argument of why it matters. There'd be no point to do this because they're not looking for investors. They have a parent company.
Yeah.
The only reason that they could be out there, you know, appealing to everyone is if they're worried they're going to get rolled into HBO Max.
Which, again, we're hearing that is
likely the case.
Yeah, same with the animation studios. Elation,
Rooster Teeth,
Cartoon Network, that eventually they're going to just kind of smush it all together into, this is Warner Brothers anime style animation division.
And they might have like a tab for Cartoon Network, and they might have like, you know, like that.
Right.
Because I can't think they'd be rid of Cartoon Network because there's too much brand associated with that. It's a channel and everything.
I've heard Cartoon Network Studios. I've heard from a couple different people. We do have contacts at Warner Brothers that said that the long-term goal might be that Cartoon Network, you've got Warner Animation, which does the classic stuff.
Right.
And they do like the DC comic stuff. And then you've got Cartoon Network Studios, which, since Cartoon Network has Adult Swim, all the Adult Swim stuff, all the Rooster Teeth stuff, which is basically just making stuff for Adult Swim, you know, all the Elation stuff, all that gets rolled into Cartoon Network Studios. Then Cartoon Network content gets put onto HBO Max.
Right, and then Crunchyroll's left out of that mix. So that would have to go with the Ghibli stuff on the animation end. Because instead of HBO putting the Ghibli stuff with Crunchyroll, they're putting it on HBO Max, and they're going to be putting Crunchyroll on HBO Max.
Yeah, and they're being like, hey, we're going to work with Crunchyroll. Just like Rooster Teeth is working with Cartoon Network.
But they're putting it on the HBO Max button, which means it's going to be on HBO Max, is how the takeaway for most people.
Yeah, so Crunchyroll might be a brand, it might be a sub-tab on...
Because besides, we're keeping it fresh with anime. New anime every quarter curated by the anime experts at Crunchyroll and the HBO Max account. Come on. I mean,
it's like, you guys have to see they do.
Clearly, these people are upset, which is why they put this article out.
Yeah, because I think they know this is coming. They're living on borrowed time. When HBO Max launches, it is so easy to just dump all that content on one platform and be like, oh, you want anime? Just make the anime tab your homepage. You know, or whatever. We'll recommend anime to you because you've been watching a lot of anime, like Netflix does. You watch a lot of anime, most of your recommendations are going to be anime.
Right. Like right now, when I turn on Netflix or whatever, it's all these Korean dramas, Chinese dramas, and everything else comes up. I feel bad because I was on your account when I was watching those. So their suggestions for you are mostly those. I apologize.
That's okay. When Pinky Boo was little, we used to get all these like weird ass girly kid shows that would show up on my account, and I'd be like, what are you watching? That I'm getting like fairy shows and stuff coming up.
Well, it could have been worse.
It could have been a lot worse.
At least it was age appropriate.
That's true. That is true. But yeah, I think they know. They know they're on borrowed time because there is no reason to have a separate thing. There's no reason when they're looking to cut money to have a freaking $50,000 a month, you know.
That article definitely reads as if it was a pitch.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to appeal to people.
Yep.
To keep go make sure you tell them we need to keep it separate. This is what I would expect if they were looking for investors.
Yeah, and that's and this is an industry site. This is not like a major press. This is like the right people are going to come across this and be like, yeah, you know what? We were going to cut Crunchyroll, but now we're not because look, they're growing and it's a community. It's a safe space that's deep and wide.
Yes, I know.
The vortex of fandom.
I still want to use that for butthole.
We have to keep that safe space pure and untouched.
Have you seen some of the animes that they have on these channels? I mean, pure and untouched aren't what I'm thinking about.
Penny Pincher, Jon Stanky, probably disagrees. I'm just going to put that out there.
Hugh Jackman looks terrible in that.
It's Hugh Jackman?
Yeah.
I thought it was Al Pacino.
So,
anyway, yeah. So there are cuts coming, guys. I'm again thinking we're going to see all this stuff get folded because they've already done it. there's been a precedent, Full Screen and Drama Fever and all that. They've already done it.
Yeah.
And Crunchyroll's a holdout. So
this will be interesting to see how everything shifts around when HBO Max goes up.
Yeah, even Rooster Teeth. People are paying for HBO or paying for Rooster Teeth first, and they're actually putting new Rooster Teeth content on HBO Max first, which is making people mad.
Well, I would be mad too. They're having you pay for it because it means they're going to merge it at some point.
They're gonna merge it. It's already it's done, guys. It's just it hasn't happened yet because they haven't launched the service. But you know, why would you have multiple infrastructures, multiple platforms? Again, you can make the argument that you just subscribe for anime, but I'm like, just upsell people another couple bucks and they get everything.
They just want to go wide instead of deep.
They want to go wide instead of deep. So
why can't you have both? Wide and deep sounds like a lot. You can reach a lot more that way.
Well, Netflix is killing it with, I mean, here's the thing. Netflix is killing it with anime. Netflix is killing it with children's shows. Netflix is killing it with movies. They're killing it with every vertical that they do, basically. You know, I mean, people can argue it's like a big soup that you have to wait around, find what you want, but Netflix is pretty good at honing in on what your interests are.
Yeah.
And if you start watching a lot of anime, they're going to recommend a lot of anime to you. That's the way it works. So eventually you'll find what you're looking for.
That's right.
You know, and HBO is going to be the same way.
You'll find that kernel of corn.
You'll find that kernel of corn.
I'm using your one of your favorite examples that makes me sick when you do it.
In the vortex of fandom.
The vortex of fandom.
If you go deep enough, you can find it in the vortex of fandom.
Oh my god.
Okay, so that's what I'm just saying that's what this sounds like to me, is they're trying to justify their existence. This is the marketing guy talking.
By that clip there, it looks like they're all judging people. That's the
this is Freak Angels. This is
that's what they do. Like they do that in anime when they're judging you. You think they're judging you, they show their eyes like that.
I was looking at this. I'm thinking of that M83 video with the kids with the psychic powers.
I don't remember it.
It's Squid King knows what I'm talking about. It's like Akira, but they got the kids with the psychic powers and their eyes are glowing. It's like that.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up.
It's the vortex of fandom.
It is the vortex of fandom. We're gonna wrap this up.
That's right.
Okay, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.